Yo, what's going on, man? Today is March the 1st. We made it to March, man, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show, where I am live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. Do me a favor as you guys join, hit the like button for me if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and turn the notification bell on so you guys do know when I go live. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening in on YouTube, definitely check me out on X or Twitter. And vice versa. If you guys are watching on YouTube, definitely, if you guys are listening in on Twitter or X, definitely check me out on YouTube as well. Link for all my official plays are in the description for anybody who wants to join the membership and the OzJam promo as well. We have a bunch of games on the board, so we'll get into a quick recap of yesterday. We did cool off yesterday, gave out 5 plays all together. We did go 3-2. We ended up making a little over a unit yesterday, which was good. Glad that we added that money line parlay towards the end of the day, which was a winner. Atlanta, Brooklyn under cash. Probably should have just played the under in retrospect, but I did like Atlanta yesterday. They were a loser. OKC. Not only did they not cover the 10.5, the early number that we got, they lost the game outright to a San Antonio team that had been struggling and that was coming home off that 9-game road trip. And Golden State did get the job done for us, minus the 3.5 early in that spot. So 3-2 day, I think that puts us at 11-2 on the week, up about a little over 10 units for the week. So it's been a good week, man. Looking to build off that. Don't really love the slate though, if I'm being honest with you guys. I love the slate yesterday, which is why I had those 4 plays early. But I don't. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't love the slate. Played one play so far, and I'm looking for a second one, and that's probably going to be it for me today, unless we get some injury news that impact some of these things. So, we'll go. I'll go through the games though and let you guys know how I'm looking at them. But it's not a ton that I really like in these games, if I'm being honest with you guys. So let's get into it for today. First game we have on the board is, and I appreciate everybody for sending the comments and letting me know what their best looks are, all the positive vibes, all that good stuff as well. First game we got on the board. This line's actually dropping now. Looks like it's 1-9 out there. Line's kind of fluctuating between 9 and 8.5. Got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Detroit Pistons, man. Talked about this one on the show yesterday. Told you guys I like Detroit in this spot. I said it yesterday when the line was at 10. Of course, Donovan Mitchell, he is still listed as is listed as questionable in this game. Not 100% sure if he's going to play. What is that? What is it that he's dealing with? It's a left knee soreness. Hopefully he just sits this one out, man. No need to play him with a bad knee or a sore knee, especially on the first, in a game where, you already kind of dominated the series. Cleveland is 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. They've been struggling to cover. And head-to-head, Cleveland, they've won all 3 games. So they shouldn't be motivated in this spot. And granted, they're coming off a loss against Chicago. Detroit has covered all 3 matchups as well. Detroit's also covered 3 games in a row. This team is playing a little bit better, I think, in my opinion, as of late. So this is what we kind of talked about yesterday. Also, the Cavs were in a 5th game in 7 nights the other day. So that means today they are in a 6th game in 9 nights. And they're off a double overtime game. Always looking to kind of fade those teams. So I did bet Detroit in this spot. I took them at the plus 8.5 on Bet Rivers just about 30 minutes ago. Now, the caveat to that is that Donovan Mitchell plays, you'll get a much better number. So you can wait, but with the number coming down, it kind of makes me feel like Donovan Mitchell may not play in this game. Somebody let me know if he tweets out, let him know, because we know if he tweets that out, he typically plays in those games. So it was the spot that kind of, made the most sense to me, the one I felt most confident in. And like I said, we talked about this yesterday for the people who watched the show yesterday. So Detroit plus the points. There are some 8.5s that aren't juiced out there. Definitely shop around for the best number, but that was the best number that I could find. And like really kicking myself that I didn't take the 10 yesterday. So let's go to the chat real quick and see what you guys are looking at here. And then we'll keep it pushing. A bunch of games to get into. Try to keep the show kind of short today. Carlos, what's going on, my brother? Appreciate you for tapping in. Same thing with my guy. Jamie says, what up, Chris? And the family says Cavs, Sixers, and Timberwolves money line for him today. Okay. I don't know. Man, it's a tricky card today. Prolific says Chris must not like the slate today. I don't, man. Y'all know if I like the slates, I'm firing off plays the night before. I was actually, trying to figure out what I wanted to bet last night. And I don't know if you can get like gambler's fatigue or something like that. I just felt like Like I was looking at the numbers and looking at the teams, and I handicap the game so much that I know typically what spots I'm gonna be looking for, and nothing stood out to me. I'm like looking at these 9 games last night, and I'm like, man, I don't see one play that I absolutely love, like nothing. So I mean, this was the one that before we even talked about it, before we even talked about today's slate on yesterday's slate, I talked about liking Detroit plus the 10. So this is the one that stood out to me the most. The total did come down from 223 down to 221.5. I guess I would agree with the movement there. This should be a game where Detroit could struggle to score. They shoot a lot of shots at the rim, and Cleveland does a really good job of protecting the paint. So I would kind of lean towards the under, but I think they'll be able to knock down some outside shots. That's where Cleveland kind of struggles as of late, and I can see it kind of happening again today. So I think I like the under a tad bit more. Don't want to play it with the line coming down from 223 down to 221. Also, I forgot to mention this. Karis LeVert popped up on the injury report, so he's also listed as questionable in this game due to a right elbow sprain. I didn't even know he was, and this happened throughout the middle of the day. Not that they don't have guys to replace him. You still got Sam Merrill who can go out there and fill it up. You still got Isaac Okoro, who's playing really, really good basketball right now as well. But that could be a tremendous loss for their offense. So give me Detroit. I'll take them. Only play that I've made so far today, Detroit plus the 8.5. What up, Young Harlow? Fear Elite says, what's going on, Chris? Let's cash something tonight. Absolutely. Angelo, what's going on? Tariq, my guy. LJ says, let's cash it Fridays. She says 57% of underdogs cover on leap year days. We going back to this again, man. Coop says, new month, new opportunity to cash. Hit the like button. Appreciate you, Coop, as always, my brother. Chad likes the Pistons. I'm glad we're aligned there, Chad. Let's hopefully we cash them. Coop says, dog of the day is Detroit plus the 8.5. Coop also says they're in a sandwich spot with the Knicks on deck. I forgot to mention this, but that was something that I looked at as well. She says, I feel like Cleveland a better team when they play shorthanded. There's a lot of validity to this statement. The one thing I will say about this one, though, is shorthanded not without Donovan Mitchell. Without Donovan Mitchell, they just played 2 games. They lost both of those games outright without Donovan Mitchell. Now, if you're shorthanded without Evan Mobley and without Donovan Garland, maybe, but I think they need Donovan Mitchell for sure. What's up, Raptors fans? He says, what's good, Chris? He says he played Cade over 3.5 assists. Cade over 3.5 assists. He says he's over this line at 8. That can't be 3.5 assists for Cade, right? That's got to be. I got to be looking at something wrong. 3.5 assist line. He says he's over in 8 of his last 10 games, and the Cavs as a team have been giving up rebounds to opposing guards as of late. Over 3.5 rebounds. Okay, you said assists, but now you're saying rebounds. Okay, got it. Got you. Chad says, hardly ever love a play if it's 53% likely or better. I'm going. Yeah, I'm with you there, Chad. Raptors fans also says Kobe White had 8, Luka had 9, Poole had 5, and Maxey had 7. Brandon Miller is listed as probable as we get updated injury news for today's game. Troy says, Chris, this isn't an under. Yeah, I would agree, Troy. I'm just not going to get there. Not going to get there with the total today, especially losing those 2.5 points of value. Grant Williams no longer on the injury report. And my guy, Justin. What up, Justin? Always firing off the college basketball plays. He says, what's good, fellas in Queens? I love it. Love it. All right, let's keep going. Detroit plus the 8.5 for me in this spot. Next game up is that Charlotte game against the Philadelphia 76ers. And this was a pretty easy stay away for me. Philly has not been playing great enough for me to want to lay 11.5. And I know this is an absolute flat spot. One of the first things I looked at when I was running systems early this morning was these. I wanted to see the spot for these teams. So it's some really bad spots for teams today. 5th game at 8 nights is not as worse as 5th game at 7 nights, but 5th game at 8 nights is typically not a great spot, especially when you're on the road as a dog. And that is applicable for 2 teams today, the Wizards and the Hornets. Bet against spot, especially with the Wizards being on this, not having to travel, but coming off the overtime game, which is why you see that inflated number. And I told you guys last night, I said the Wizards probably going to cover this game tonight, and then they probably get smoked against the Clippers. I did not think the line was going to open up at 14, and I didn't think that it was going to get bet up to 15.5. But it's crazy. We'll get to that game in a second. So road dogs, fifth game in 8 nights, the Wizards and the Hornets, the Bucks, the Pelicans, the Cavs, and the Warriors. All buy-on teams, in my opinion, are all playing also in a fifth game in 8 nights as a favorite. And typically those lines are a tad bit too inflated, and the dogs have a chance to cover in that spot. So road dogs, fifth game in 8 nights, you got the Wizards and you got the Hornets. And then you got fifth game in 8 nights as a favorite. You got the Bucks, the Pelicans, the Cavs, and the Warriors, all in that spot tonight. Not the greatest spot, and I think that's what makes the card so difficult to cap. So like we talked about, Charlotte in one of those spots, they are, fifth game in 8 nights on the road as a dog, played last night as well. They actually play pretty good basketball when they're not playing against the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee continues to own this team, even though they may have gotten that late backdoor cover last night. I was trying to watch that game to the end, but was flipping back and forth. I'm just not into laying 11 points, 11 and a half points with the Philadelphia 76ers right now. Phillies lost 4 of their last 5. They failed to cover 4 of their last 5. And I think the odds makers just set this one a tad bit too high. Now, can Philly absolutely smoke Charlotte? Potentially, but it's not a game that I feel super invested in. This total did drop as well. Looking at the total from 216.5 down to 214. And Philly's defense has not been as great, in my opinion, to want to take a total this low. Like, you got to be having 2 elite defenses to go below 214. This is like a Minnesota Timberwolves total, in my opinion. But Charlotte is 8-2 to the under in their last 10. Philly also 8-2 to the under in their last 10. So both of these teams have kind of struggled to score. This could be a spot where Charlotte runs out of gas, but even if they do, I'm not sure if it'll be a 12-point win. So I couldn't quite get there. And I see Tariq in the chat. He says, how about Charlotte team total under? Charlotte team total is what? Let's see. The total for the full game is 216 divided by 2, 108, subtract 5.5, 6. You're looking at like a 102.5. I can't trust Philly's defense. I really can't. And if Philly plays with pace, then they could speed Charlotte up just a tad bit. But it's not a game that I'm super interested in backing, if I'm being honest. I did look at a few angles, not something that I'm interested in. Not gonna waste you guys' time on this one. Let's see. Troy says, JM, what's your tops? What's top spot for you? Bryce says, I can't believe I'm about to lay 11 with the Sixers team. Best of luck to you, Bryce. I laid 11 with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they did me dirty last night, man. Best of luck landing with Philly tonight. I'm not going to be on the opposite side. Maybe a live betting game. If Charlotte can kind of keep it close early, Philly should win the game, absolutely. Much better matchup as far as rest spot in this game. Sleepy likes Durham rebounds in the previous game, in that Cleveland and Detroit game. What's up, JB? She says Golden State 18-9 against the spread on the road. We'll talk about that game in a second. He got hot takes. This is the comment of the day. He says, hate the slate, bro. Just trying to end a good week without giving back units. That's exactly how I feel, man. Y'all, one thing y'all know about me, and it's probably why I'm one of the boring cappers in the capping space, and that does shows, because I don't force plays. If it's something that I don't like, I'm quick to tell you guys. I'm not gonna give my money back to the sports books. I actually just made a withdrawal. Coop says this current 76ers is laying 11.5. For what reason? Just because of the rest spot, in my opinion, Coop. Philly looked like they laying a number like they got Embiid tonight. That's when they was laying double digits. I don't think they've laid double digits since Joel Embiid's been out, but they are tonight. EQ says Philly will win, but without Embiid, I don't know if they cover or not. I agree. Coop says, don't love the spot for the Hornets, but I knew the Bucks were a bad matchup for him. I would agree there. Kai says, what about the 76ers team total over? It's one of those games, in my opinion, Kai, where it could go either way. It really could go either way. You also got Kelly Oubre, as we see breaking news, still listed as a game time decision. In my opinion, you definitely need somebody like Kelly Oubre in this game. Yeah, with you, Troy. He says the books are begging people to take the Hornets. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing anything. Cinco says that's a 1-800 Hope NY game. LA Mackin says he likes that Philly team total over 111.5 as well. Let's see. Malik says, watch that boring word, bro. Never laugh aloud. Never that, man. He says you teach people. Can't say that for all the capitalists. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't want to learn. A lot of people just want to show up and find your best plays. They want the video to be 10 seconds. I could care less. What up, Crosby? He says, yo, 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 fresh off the break. Let's get it. Seymour Cash says he likes Buddy Hield over his threes. And Sleepy says nobody wants the Hornets. They probably cover it. And I would agree with that statement. 11 and a half is just a tad bit too much, but I don't feel comfortable betting it either way. And those are the games that I stay off. Let's keep it moving. Push on to the next one. Next game up, we got maybe the game of the day. The Dallas Mavericks will be in Boston taking on the Celtics. This line is at 9-0. You guys see 8.5. The total is also at 237.5. So biggest thing in this game, of course, is the status of Luka Doncic, who is still listed as game time decision. He did participate in shoot around earlier today. Officially still listed as questionable with the left ankle sprain. I think he's going to play. Like, it's no reason to go through shoot around and, all that stuff. It's not the greatest spot for Dallas, though. And I'm not somebody who likes to lay a lot of points with Dallas, with the Boston Celtics. But they have that, that factor where, they can literally just turn up and win the game and cover the number. I was looking into something earlier, and I think it's pretty interesting. I just wanted to mention this real quick before I give you guys some numbers for the game. When you're playing Dallas, and I may have said this before, when you're playing Dallas, you always got to lay close to double digits. And here's the reason why. Because Dallas is so good that no matter if they cover the number or they don't, it's always pretty close. Like, either they're going to lose outright, which don't happen that often, or they're going to win by double digits, right? So the first thing I looked at was like Dallas, their margins. So for the season, Dallas is actually a plus 10.4. They're winning the games by average of double digits. This year at home, Dallas is winning by average of 13.8 points. And over the last 3 games, they're winning by 16.5 points. So, that's just how it goes with Dallas. How it goes with Boston. Dallas, not the same. A plus 1.3 on the season in point differential. On the road, they're -2. And their last 3 games, they're -4.3. So you're going to have to lay a premium with the Boston Celtics. They are fully healthy in this spot as well. I think they do have the rest advantage by a day in this spot as well. So, that's the price to lay with the best team in the NBA. I'm not laying that price with them, though. I'll tell you that. This is a really difficult game for me to kind of handicap, especially without knowing the status of Luka. But if Luka is in, I do think that they can kind of keep this one close. A couple things I looked at was, how Dallas does in non-conference road games. And those numbers are really, really good this season. Let me just pull it up real quick because I didn't write this down earlier. So Dallas is 7-3 straight up, 8-2 against the number when they are on the road in a non-conference game this season. Like I said, major, rest advantage here. 3rd game in 4 nights for Dallas, and the 4th game in 6 nights for them as well. But they do well in this spot, and you look at the Celtics, not as great when you just flip it. So if you look at the Celtics at home and they're playing a non-conference game, they are just 4-5 against the number, 6-3. They have lost 3 of these games outright as well, and they failed to cover 4 of the last 5 in this spot also. They do trend towards the under, 6-3 towards the under as well. I think if I'm playing the game, that's the way I'm kind of looking. Dallas can should be trying to get back to their defensive form, and Boston, we know, is a really good defensive team when they play in these really big games, and this is a big game for them. Tatum trying to make some last minute push to get the MVP, and Boston is healthy, so I would look towards the under. That's the only way I would play this one. Luka gets ruled in, this total will go back up, and then you probably take the under. And even if I played it, it'd probably be a smaller play. But I do like these overinflated totals. In my opinion, both of these teams kind of trending towards the under. Head to head, Dallas is 7-2-1. Their last 10, well, let's see, head to Dallas. Yeah, well, yeah. Never. You know what? That's not important. Don't worry about it. Just know I'm not betting the game. If Luka gets ruled in, I do think it's a spot where Dallas could cover, and it's really difficult to bet against Boston, in my opinion. And I lean towards the under as well. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat on this one. I'm interested to know how y'all playing this one. Gene says KP threes. Yeah, I could see him, getting bringing Lively out to the perimeter, bringing Daniel Gafford out makes a lot of sense. Justin says, why nobody's seeing books begging you to take Mavericks? Give me Luka and Kyrie a dime. Giving Luka and Kyrie a dime, cut it out. Celtics smack city spot, but comfortable. Celtics smack city, but comfortable with Celtics team total over. I could see. Yeah, this is a difficult one, Justin. It's difficult for me, man. It's very, very difficult for me. Best of luck, however you play it. I'm gonna sit back and watch this one. That's how I'm gonna play it. Troy says, I'm here to get your interview. I like your approach and thought process. I appreciate that, Troy. Jamie says, Kyrie gonna have a good night. He could, man. Troy also says, Justin, I'm digging into Celtics team total right now. Mavs defense has been pretty bad. So maybe it is a Celtics team total over. Seymour Cash says Dallas plus 8.5 all day. Angelo says this is going to be a competitive game. JB says looking at Kyrie props and Celtics team total over as well. Delbert says he likes Dallas plus the 9.5. EQ says he caught the Mavs at 9.5 as well. Tariq says, how about the under? I think under too. I think under as well. Raptors fan says Tatum double-double or Tatum over 8.5 rebounds. He's covered both in 5 straight matchups versus the Mavs. I can see it. And then Delbert also says ESPN game Kyrie will turn up in Boston. He will be back home. Forgot to mention that, but that was something that I looked into as well. What else y'all like? Chai says Kyrie over 14.5 in the first half. Markel, this is where I'm at with it. He says sit back and watch for me. Jabari says definitely taking the 9.5 with the Mavs. I'm with you here, Tariq, as well. He says live bet whoever is down. PZ says look at the over in these props national televised games. I don't necessarily agree with that, PZ. I think some national television games can go under as well. But Dallas, not in the best rest spot. 3rd and 4, 4 and 6 could lead to some tired legs. We did see them, going on the second leg of that back-to-back. They got the win in Toronto, but Toronto was pushing the pace and that game flew over the total. So I couldn't talk you off. Don't let me talk you off. Michael says the number is telling him that Luka is out. Vaughn says he's playing Tatum points and rebounds and assists. I think he attempts to show out tonight, and he typically plays well versus the Mavs. Okay. Ronald says might live bet this one. I agree with that. Bryce says under. Celtics playing a super slow pace, and I think they control the pace of the game. Tatum points, rebounds, and assists. Last 4 games for Vaughn says versus the Mavs 55, 53, 55, 36 in a blowout, and it fits his MVP chase he's wanting to make. This makes a lot of sense to me too, Vaughn. One more thing I want to look at. I know this was something that I've been tracking all season, and then we'll keep it moving. Boston at home this year with a total greater than 235. I know it's a trend towards the under. I just can't remember exactly what the numbers were. 6-2 to the under is Boston at home with a total greater than 235 this season. So that's a pretty profitable trend, 75% over the course of 8 games. If the total is greater than, that's about right. So 235. So if it's 236, I mean, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a pretty profitable trend. This trend over 236 is actually 4-1 to the under as well. So I think it's under or nothing. I'm with you here, Bryce. Seymour Cash says Celtics won the last meeting, but this is a whole different Mavs team with the addition of PJ Washington and Gafford. I'm jockeying Mavs all day. Okay. Luka did go through shoot around, Jamie. And what's up to my guy, Fred? Appreciate you in the chat as always, my brother. Let's keep it pushing. Next game up, we got the Warriors who will be on the road today. It looks like, let me just check the updated number. This line is down to 3. You guys see 3.5 on the screen. Total come down from 238.5 down to 236.5. And I have 235, so it has gone up just a tad bit. So right before the show, Przynski got ruled out, which I think is worth noting. He's been instrumental in this team's success as of late. So he's ruled out. No Przynski. Wiggins also dealing with family matter, condolences, and prayers up to Wiggins and everybody that's involved in that situation. Hopefully everything works out. But he won't be with the team. Santos also listed as out in this game. And then on the opposite side, Toronto looks like they just have Chris Boucher listed as a game time decision dealing with a non-COVID illness. So this game is a difficult one for me. We've been making tons of money with Golden State. I think I've backed Golden State successfully like 4 times in a row. If you guys are in the membership or you've been listening to the channel, we continuously cash with Golden State. I just don't like the spot for them as much in this one. They are 8-4 straight up and against the spread on back-to-backs this season. They've won and covered 3 in a row in that spot. But they did have the plane delay. For people who didn't know, they got in super late. It's already a terrible road spot. And granted, they're 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the spread as road favorites when they're unrested this season. But this is not a good spot. I talked about it a little bit already, but this is the 5th game in 8 nights for the Golden State Warriors. Now, granted, they need to continue winning games. I don't think that they're going to overlook this Toronto Raptors team. Toronto is not a team that really scares me because their defense has been so bad. This team is literally just out there trying to score the basketball. They're running up and down the floor playing with a bunch of pace since the All-Star break happened, and they're just trying to score. So it'd only be over for me if I'm looking at this game. Toronto 7th in pace. Their offensive rating is top 5 as well, but their defensive rating has not been good. They're actually bottom 10. They're 22nd, and Golden State's a much better defensive team, but they're not in the greatest spot. And that's one of the reasons that kind of kept me off, because I was actually thinking about playing Golden State last night. I wanted to wait on the injury report, of course. Doesn't look like anybody else is going to be out. I think Golden State should have all their young guys. I have all the vets too, Clay, Steph, Draymond, I think is going to play in this one. And I do think Golden State's the better team. I just don't like the spot as much. Traveling from New York, to Toronto, that New York win last night was, Warriors kept getting the 10-point lead, and then they couldn't manage. They couldn't hold on to the 10-point lead. So, the Knicks kept cutting it to 5, cutting it to 6. Next thing you know, Golden State be up by like 13 again. And then, the Knicks kept chipping away. And that Golden State's been winning these games. So I'm definitely not playing the Raptors, but this one makes a ton of sense. And shout out to Jeff Michaels. I think it was Jeff when I came on and did the morning show a couple days ago. One of the things, I went back and read the comments afterwards. One of the things he said to look at when I was thinking about fading the Raptors against the Mavs in that last game was the Raptors this season, when they have more rest than their opponent. They've actually been really bad in this spot. 6-10 straight up, 6-9-1 against the spread. This was a spot that they were in against the Mavericks, and they lost that game, gave up 136 points, even though the Mavs were playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. So for whatever reason, they did beat the Pacers in this spot, but outside of that, they're actually 1-4 in their last 5 games when they have the rest advantage. So to me, this one, is a really difficult game. I can see Golden State winning. This is one where I may potentially live bet. The Lakers did win last night, so that means Golden State, I think, is back in the 10th spot. Both teams, really winning a bunch of games as of late. And both teams need to continue winning. Lakers were able to get the win last night against the Wizards, and Golden State don't need this win against Toronto, even though they won last night against the Knicks as well. They've done really, really well on this road trip. So difficult game. I'm not playing it, pregame, but maybe something I'll live bet here. Also think that the over is absolutely in play. If Golden State is not going to play, as great defense because they're on the second leg of a back-to-back, I do think that their offense is still going to show up and show out, and I'm not trusting Toronto's defense. Toronto's defense has been god-awful as of late. Let's see, real quick. Let's look at something. I just told you guys the numbers. I know they're bottom 10 defensively, but let's just look at their last few games defensively. They gave a 136 to the Mavs, 122 to the Pacers, 121 to the Hawks. So that's enough for me. 3-0 to the over in their last 3 games as well. And those games are flying over the total. Actually over by 20 points against the Mavs, 5.5 against the Pacers. I'm sorry. 5.5 by the Pacers, and went over about 0.5 point to the Atlanta Hawks as well. 4-5 to the over in their last 5 games. So it still be over for me. Only way I'm looking to play this one is towards the over, maybe even a Golden State team total over in this one. Maybe even a Golden State team total, maybe even a Raptors team total, honestly. Golden State being on the second leg of a back-to-back. Let's go back to the YouTube comment section real quick, and then we'll get to the next game. Let's see what y'all saying here. PZ going back to the last game. He says Luka had a triple-double last time they played in January. Dexter says I'm here. Chris, like button smash. Appreciate you, Dexter. He said he's cashed with Golden State last night. Glad you were able to get that cash. Vaughn says Warriors have been playing well since a little before the All-Star break. I don't know why, but this feels like a flat spot being on the second leg of back-to-back with travel. So I gave you guys the numbers, right? I said Golden State is still 3-0 straight up and 2-1 against the number when they're road favorites and they're unrested this season. So this has been a spot where they have played well. They still play well, but, travel eventually it catches up with you. So I'm all for this one, but it still be Golden State or nothing for me. And shout out to Michael for becoming a member. Appreciate you for doing that, Michael. Hopefully we can get some cash and run it up towards the end of the season. Typically, it's a lot better for us in the first half, and we've kind of proven that this week. So hopefully we can keep that going. Troy says this is a Raptor spot unless we close at 3.5 or higher. I agree. Chad says he took the Raptors in this spot. I just can't quite get there because of the defense. Throughout the month of February, the Raptors they go 8-4 to the over. They allowed an average of 122 points per game over the course of 12 games. So I couldn't get there with the Raptors. They are in a really good rest spot, though. I will tell you that. Delbert says he heard Golden State was having trouble with leaving. That is true. Tariq says I won with Golden State yesterday. I watched Steph on the back-to-back last week or so. He struggled keeping my winnings in my bank. No bet. I like that, Tariq. I like that a lot. That's how I feel too. Raptors fan says he likes Moses Moody over 1.5 threes. He says he'll get the start since Wiggins is out, and we give up more threes to the forward position. Okay, it's really good insight there, Raptors fan. What else y'all like? What's up, Tasha? Appreciate you for tapping in. I know you're a couple minutes late, but it's all good. Appreciate you for being here. Bryce pointing out that Brandon Miller is now listed as questionable again. Crazy how that worked, right? He just got upgraded to probable. Now he's back to questionable. If he doesn't play, that team total under is probably going to be in play. He means a lot to that offense, especially without LaMelo Ball. LJ says, crazy trend for you, Chris. He says teams that play the Knicks since January 1st are 7-19 against the spread in the next game. I just stayed off. Can't trust the Raptors. You know what, LJ? I didn't look at this recently, like the last couple days, but I do remember this trend from like maybe a week ago, week and a half ago, something like that. Maybe it was going into the All-Star break. Makes a lot of sense, man, because the Knicks really beat you up. Like you got to play hard against the Knicks. They're not going to roll over. Just because they're shorthanded, they're going to rebound the basketball. They're going to hustle. They're still going to play really good defense. They're going to box out, all those different things. So this makes a lot of sense to me, LJ. Makes a lot of sense. Almost like playing against a really good team in the NFL, and then that next game, you're still kind of recovering. Call me Aries says he's back on quickly threes. I didn't really look into it as much today, Aries, but couldn't talk you off. I know he's getting up a bunch of attempts. I just would need to check Golden State's 3-point defense. Tariq says, by the way, Chris, I won the over 6 p.m. yesterday. Just saying, you did. We'll definitely go over that today. Not even setting the limit, but you definitely won that bet. I'm glad I didn't put a wager on that with you, Tariq. Gene says Toronto is on a short list of teams that let players score points on them. Absolutely. Zubin says Dallas is 0-10 against the spread since May 2022 as a 5-point dog in games where Luka plays. I did see this number earlier as well. That says the back Boston in the spot, but another game I don't have a strong feel on it. Not out here gambling, man. I'm trying to make educated decisions. Kenneth says, yeah, them quickly threes been cash. She says Hornets getting blown out tonight. Justin says my numbers have Celtics scoring 123 points. Okay. What else y'all liking? Here? Tasha says she's sneaking to listen to the show at work. Appreciate you, Tasha. Appreciate you. Hopefully it brings you some cash, man. Bet on JC took the Raptors +3. PZ says Brzezinski's out. We talked about that. Roger says he likes the Celtics and the Pelicans on the money line at -116. Estat says Golden State still smashes here. Can't trust the Raptors at all. Also took the over. Yeah, I think I like the over a little bit more than anything else. The Warriors won't go out without a fight, at least the offensive fight, and I can't trust Toronto defensively. What else? Floppy says, what's your favorite pick today? I already talked about it, Floppy. You probably got here late. I took Detroit plus the points, plus the 8.5. Gene says Jared Allen and Darren rebounds over 11. Last comment real quick. Well, not two more I want to say. Vaughn says Warriors scare me a bit with this being a non-conference game in the second leg of a back-to-back. I don't know how motivated they are to win this game, even though I know they need to win the game. Yeah, I think that the way I kind of gauge Golden State's motivation is who plays, right? If they're gonna toss the game, in my opinion, this is a game where you sit Steph, you sit Draymond, right? You rest your vets, and we've seen Steve Kerr and his coaching staff do that throughout the years. Golden State has not been doing that as of late. They've been playing in second leg of back-to-backs. If you remember, about 2 weeks ago, they actually beat the Indiana Pacers on the second leg of a back-to-back in Indiana, and that was a 5th game in 7 nights. They also, right before the game before the All-Star break, they lost at home to the Clippers because they gave up that lead in the 4th quarter. And what did they do in Utah? We took them last game before the All-Star break. We took them in Utah, and they won that game on the second leg of a back-to-back, which goes back to the trend: 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the spread when they're road favorites, unrested this season. All right, cool. Raptors fan says, this is just a lean, Chris, but Curry under 5.5 threes is something I may get there with. Curry hasn't hit 6 threes against the Raptors in almost a decade. Okay. And one thing about the Raptors, they give it up. They give up the points in the paint. Remember, we talked about that. I think 3rd most points in the paint since the All-Star break. So it should be a Kuminga type game. He's the youngest player on that, one of the younger players on that team as well. All right, cool. Let's keep pushing. We got a few more games, or a lot more games still to get into. Next game up. Oh, this is we skipping this one, man. I should have put call a hotline if you guys are playing this game. I cannot play this game, man. Portland Trail Blazers and Memphis Grizzlies today. I'm not one of those people that say call the 1-800 gambler number. I think that if you can extract value in a game, and you find a big enough edge, you bet it. That's how I kind of feel about it. So don't let me talk you off if you like this game. I, however, have nothing in this game. This is a game where I would love to, play Memphis, right? I think Memphis is a better team than Portland, especially when you have no Ayton. I gave you guys the numbers. If you've been just fading Portland, you have enough to, probably go buy a small island, depending on how much your unit size is. Portland has, I think, failed to cover 7 straight spreads. So it's no Malcolm Brogdon, no play on the Portland Trail Blazers. This line did come all the way down from 4. The Grizzlies were laying 4. This line is now down to 1. And I do agree with the movement there, but all of the key players are out. Like if I had to name everybody that was out for Memphis, the show would run into the game actually starting at 8:00. And for Portland, not only are they without Brogdon, but they're also without Ayton as well. There's no Shaedon Sharpe. There's no Scoot Henderson. Absolute difficult game to play. I still lean Memphis, though. I'll tell you guys that. I would just want Jared Jackson Jr. to be in. And now, on top of all of those injuries, you got Jared Jackson Jr. also listed as out. So when I saw it last night, I said, yeah, no way I'm playing this game. I still lean towards the home team, though. I think Memphis is a better team. You got Jeremy Grant on the other side. You got Anthony Simons on the other side, and those two guys. But outside of those two guys, I'm not sure if they have another capable scorer on this Portland Trail Blazers team. Ayton was the 3rd guy. Chris Murray, I don't think is, that he's nothing like his brother quite yet. Kamara, same thing. And I think Memphis got more dogs, in my opinion. Jordan Goodwin, Zaire Williamson, Vince Williams Jr., Santi Aldama. You still got Lamar Stevens out there. So it still be Memphis. I take Memphis on the money line if I had to play it, but this is definitely not a game I'm playing. Definitely not a game I'm playing. Not going to waste your time there. Shout out to Easy Money. He just gifted a membership as well. Appreciate you for doing that. Easy Money. What else we liking? Gene says toilet bowl game. Tariq says this is the game you take. This is the game you take a first date to. Cheap seats. Right. But I be talking about the game sometimes, and I be like, man, it's no way I would pay for a ticket for that game. They would have to pay me to go to that game. Yeah, they would have to pay me to go to that game. Let's see. Coop says, even though this is a 1-800 gambling game, there might be role players that may have some value if the lines get posted. I would agree with that as well. You just have to do some deep dive in there. Sleepy likes Aldama over his points. Douglas says Blazers and Grizzlies fans aren't even watching this game. That's a fact. Nobody's going to be at this game. Bryce says $10 court size tickets. I agree with that as well. Ben says, does the 1-800 number give out good picks? Nah, I'm pretty sure they don't. I've never called before, but I'm pretty sure you're not getting any good picks, man. We're not wasting our time on this game. Let's keep pushing. Next game up. I did enjoy those comments though. Yeah, y'all funny with those. We do have a meaningful basketball game. The Kings will be in Minnesota looking to bounce back after getting absolutely mollywopped in that last game in Denver. They're getting what is it? What is the line now? They're getting 6.5 still. The total in this one went up from 222.5. It's up to 225 on most books as well. This was a game that I didn't feel, extremely confident in betting as well. The big news here, of course, is De'Aaron Fox, who missed that last game. He's still listed as questionable. He did participate in shoot around, but it's a knee issue, man. And whenever it's knee issues, I feel like, you never want to really rush players back from that too much. As this Cleveland line gets popped to 7.5. So sounds like we got a little CLV there. Still upset we didn't get the 10, but it's all good. Did Donovan Mitchell get ruled out? Because I feel like nobody put it in the chat. I do not see it listed anywhere, but the number continues to come down. Really, really interesting, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Donovan Mitchell because the total is actually down to 219.5 as well. So that sounds like Donovan Mitchell to me. Maybe the news is about to drop and people know it already. I'm not sure. All right, but going back to this game, De'Aaron Fox, you need to know if he's going to play. Anthony Edwards, also listed as questionable. I think Anthony Edwards is going to play, but are they laying too many points in this spot? 6.5 is a pretty big number. We know that the Kings have been covering. I want no parts of the Kings if they don't have De'Aaron Fox out there. But I'm also somebody who doesn't really believe in Minnesota offensively. I don't think that Minnesota is a great offensive team. I think that they can struggle to put the ball in the basket at times. We've seen it time in and time out. And I think that the Kings defense, we've been talking about this all, for a large portion of the season, but their defense gets a lot better at home than it does on the road. So I kind of want to play on the Kings in this spot, but Timberwolves, I just feel like I don't want to trust the Timberwolves at home. It feels like to me they are not really taking these games extremely, extremely serious. And if they win this game by 4, I don't think that they'll have a problem with that. Versus the Kings team that literally just got their teeth kicked in the last game. I mean, they lost that last game. They lost that last game against the Denver Nuggets. They lost that game by 21 points. They lost 117-96. Typically, you get a nice bounce back spot in those meetings. This is also a game where I kind of lean towards the under. I know that the total's going up to 225, but I think looking at the Kings, we know that they go under on the road. They also go under in conference games. So on the road as a dog, 11-5-1 to the under. That's 68.8%. So that's a nice trend there. And then if they're a dog on the road in a conference game, you just add that it's a conference, 9-2-1 to the under. So that's a 81.8% trend as well. So I do lean towards the under. Timberwolves, we know the best defensive team in the league, specifically at home. And I think this is a game that they kind of get up for. These two teams have played, I want to say, twice this season. Teams 1-1. First game went over. Second game goes under. This to me feels like an under game. So I lean towards the under a little bit more than the side. Still got to wait on the news with Anthony Edwards to make sure he's not ruled out. And you definitely want to wait on the news for De'Aaron Fox is how I'm looking at this one. And then you also without Kyle Anderson. I already talked about how limited, this offense is, but without Kyle Anderson, another playmaker, somebody that's averaging 4 assists per game this season, another reason for me to kind of look towards Sacramento and a look towards the under. So those are my thoughts on this game. If I'm playing it, I'm definitely taking the under, but you get a much better number. De'Aaron Fox gets ruled in. This total probably goes up to 226. It's already been better without De'Aaron Fox, so no need to rush on the total here. I like the under though. Let's see. TJ says, seen a 20-second video of Fox at shoot around this morning. He was not looking good, but would be surprised if he plays today. Oh, okay. I need to go check that beat writer list. I did not see that. Appreciate you for shouting this out though, TJ. I'm gonna write myself a note to check this out because I like to try to get ahead of the number if I can. This game doesn't start until 8:10 Eastern time. So this is definitely something I need to make sure that I look a little deeper into is the news for Fox. Okay. So Sacramento beat writer list. Fox injury. Okay. Appreciate you for shouting that out. TJ says if Fox don't play, I like the under. Sleepy says the bonus over his rebounds. Jamie says, I don't know, Chris. And looks hungry lately. And Cat is playing with a chip on his shoulder. I couldn't talk you off if you like Minnesota. It's like I said, it's probably not a game I'm gonna play, but I think the Kings bounce back in this one, in my opinion. I think they can keep it within the number. You'll have to move quickly, of course, because De'Aaron Fox gets ruled in. This number is going to shorten up, and I like the total a little bit more, is what I would say. And I just don't trust either one of those guys. I do like Anthony Edwards' points. If I'm playing anything in this game, shot volume's going to be there. There was a player prop that I looked into, Anthony Edwards' points. The shot volume is going to be there. He has been, somebody that continuously shoots the ball 20 plus times. I think his points prop sitting at 28.5, depending on where you're looking. And I talked about this in the last game that the Kings played, but they're bleeding points in the paint, in the restricted area within 5 feet. This team is giving up, I think it was 66 points per game, which is the most in the NBA. Anthony Edwards gets downhill, he should be able to score. He's gone over the number, I think, in 3 of his last 4 games. He's had 30-plus points against the Kings twice this season in both games that he's played against them. So I do like Anthony Edwards' points as long as he does play over 28.5. Kings probably will try to play a little bit faster. And I can't rely on anybody else to score for this Minnesota team. And Anthony Edwards likes to take the big shots. He likes to take and make not just the big shots, but all the shots. So I'm glad you mentioned this, Jamie, because it made me think about that. Anthony Edwards over his 25.5 prop here. Jabari says if Fox is ruled out, I'm doubling back on the Kings team total under. Easy Money says, man, thank you. We're here faithfully supporting you, and I just love talking hoops. Wagering is a plus. I agree. If I'm not doing the show, I'm just talking to my homeboys about betting. That's all we text about whenever we get a chance to talk on the phone. We always talking hoops too. So I'm right there with you. Vaughn says playing Towns points. Love his matchup versus Harrison Barnes, and plays physical versus the Kings historically. Okay. Raptors fan says kind of want to get there with the Timberwolves minus the 6.5, but I'm not sure yet. I think if Ant is ruled in, then I'll pull the trigger on it. Okay. So some conflicting trends here. People thinking both, thinking a little. Well, it don't sound like a lot of people like the Kings. I like the under a little bit more than the Kings, but I would kind of lean towards the Kings in the spot. Pacers and the Pelicans next game up. I really hate these games that kind of go back to back. Of course, the Pacers just beat this Pelicans team. It was a 5th game in 7 nights for the New Orleans Pelicans, so it makes today a 6th game in 9 nights. So still not the greatest spot for New Orleans, but this line has shifted a lot. It opened at 4. Of course, we know that they were opened at 4.5. We know that they were getting 4.5 points in that last game. I think it might have been 6 is what it closed at. And, it's a big shift from home to road. The Pelicans have been a lot better at home than they have been on the road, but they still haven't been covering numbers as of late. The Pelicans, since the All-Star break, even before going into the All-Star break, not a team that you have necessarily wanted to kind of lay with, but I do think that they could potentially get some revenge in this spot. I just don't really know. Like I'm struggling with the Pacers right now, because sometimes they come out look extremely motivated. Other times they come out, they don't look that motivated. Donovan Mitchell did get rolled out. That line is all the way down to 7 now. Karis LeVert is also rolled out, and that total is moving quickly. So if you want in, you probably want to jump in now. Happy with the position that we got in on the 8.5, though. I'll take that. Wish they would have just told us yesterday, man. It would have been nice while we was capping the game live, so I could have made that play yesterday. But it is what it is. No Karis LeVert, no Donovan Mitchell in that game. So going back to this game, like I said, Pelicans just 5-7 against the number. They are also 1-3 against the spread in their last 3. They've also gone under in 4 straight games as well. 8-4 to the under in the month of February. They come back home. They have this game. They do have a nice little break. They don't play again until Tuesday when they have to travel to Toronto to play against the Raptors. So this just isn't a game that I'm super interested in. Of course, we know the Pelicans give it up in the second half. They just continuously get outscored in that spot. Although I will say they have been doing a little bit better in the second half of the season. Throughout the first half, they were a first half team only, and then they kind of slipped in the second half. They're actually a +2 in the third quarter and a won in the fourth quarter. So they're doing a pretty good job of, trying to be a more balanced team and kind of maintain, kind of like the Boston Celtics. They were another team that were top heavy in the first half and they kind of faded in the second half. So it's a game where I think the Pelicans probably first half is probably the best play, but not a game I'm super interested in betting, if I'm being honest with you guys. I'm not 100% sure on this game. Just don't got a real strong feel for it. And then as far as did we talk? I don't think I touched on the injury report. Pelicans look like they'll be healthy in this spot. And Aaron Nesmith. So Brandon Miller just got ruled out. So you want to jump in on the under now at the 214 if you do want in on that game. It could be that Charlotte team total under now. That's the way I would look. Brandon Miller has been playing really, really big for them. I'm going to stay off just because I want to finish the show. I don't like it enough, but yeah, under 214 should definitely be the play, or just that team total under. Getting back to this game, Nesmith is listed as questionable in this one. And I think that's the only news on the Pacers side is Nesmith. Doug McDermott's been out for a while, and Dyson Daniel continues to be out for the New Orleans Pelicans. So not a game, like I said, I'm interested in playing. Let's see what you guys are on here. Coop says it's time to finally bet an under in the NBA. Jonas Valanciunas under 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He says Willie Green mentioned before the All-Star break that in certain fast break matchups, he will favor Larry Nance over Jonas Valanciunas. This makes a lot of sense. Coop, but it could go one of both ways because I actually thought about this earlier as well. I saw him get played off the floor in that last game. I think he played less than 10 minutes. However, to agree with you, I would say that, we talk about when the Pacers were beating up on the Bucks earlier and how, it's such a bad matchup for somebody like Brook Lopez, who struggles to move laterally. And I think that's the same thing with Valanciunas, right? When you put him in the pick and roll and you get him switched out on Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, that's one of the craziest matchups mismatches you'll see in the NBA. Similar to Brook Lopez. So that makes a lot of sense. However, the counter argument to that is that maybe now that the Pelicans are at home, they just try to abuse them inside the paint with Jonas Valanciunas, right? We know that the Pacers give up a ton of points in interior on the interior, right? They give up the most or top 5 most, whatever the number is, depending on how you're looking at it throughout the season. They give up a ton of points in the paint. So I could see both. Could definitely see both. If he gets subbed out early, though, cool, maybe you take a live because when he comes back in, he probably won't end up playing much. So that could be that. But I'm glad you mentioned this for sure. Vaughn says Spider and LeVert ruled out. We mentioned that. LJ says he likes the Pelicans in the first half here, minus the 2.5, 15-8 against the number after coming back home, 7-0 ATS in the first half at home, last 7 coming off a loss. Pelican spot, LJ says. I like it. It's the only way I would look at it. Bet on JC likes it as well. He says Pels first half money line in this home spot. Not sure what number you're getting with the money line, but best of luck there, JC. Love the analysis on that too, LJ. Hope you cash it. Yeah, absolutely. Love what Chad says. He says loves it when a plan comes together. Absolutely. We got some more love for the Pelicans in the first half. Bond says Yovel points, rebounds, and assists under. He says last game on Wednesday he played just 7 minutes with no foul trouble. He's too slow to run with the Pacers. Jonas Valanciunas. Seeing a similar story for him tonight. So Vaughn likes that Jonas Valanciunas look a lot as well. Smokey Steam bets also on the Pels first half, and he took the full game minus the 4.5. Coop says Jonas Valanciunas will probably get more minutes, but I don't see him going over 25 minutes in this game. Live is definitely a move. Yeah, I can see that live being a move. Raptors fan says he likes CJ McCollum over his 2.5 3-point makes again today. He says surely Indiana makes some type of adjustment. Yeah, I can see that. And nobody mentioned Zion. I think Zion had 23 points in the last game. I think his line's sitting at 23.5. He could, if he gets downhill, it could turn into a really rough night. He also, if you guys were watching, he didn't get any foul calls in that last game. He was complaining to the refs a lot. I don't think he ended up getting a tech, but I can see a world where he's getting the foul calls tonight and easily clears his 23.5 line as well. They don't really have anybody that can stay in front of him, especially if Nesmith doesn't play, in my opinion. So it could be a big turn up spot for the Pelicans here. I just don't want to bet it, but I do lean Pelicans first half and full game in this spot. Just not enough to play it. Next game. And I was trying to figure out, I thought I was crazy. I was trying to figure out why this game started at 10 o'clock. The Bucks and the Bulls play. And I think it's because it's an ESPN game, maybe. The line is now, let's see, it was 4.5. I want to say it's still the same. Yeah, 4.5 total come down from 223 down to 222.5. 222s out there as well. So this is a spot where you get a short line, and I was staring at this one. It's actually one of my favorite looks. I'm like, why are the Bucks only laying 3.5 points? Because this line actually opened at 3.5, and I was looking at it last night. And I wrote down 3.5 total 223. And it's the spot, right? I talked about it earlier, but fifth game in 8 nights as a favorite. Teams don't always cover. Especially if it's second leg of a back-to-back as well. Bucks, Pelicans, Cavs, and Warriors all in that same spot tonight. And these are the buy-on teams, in my opinion, the teams that have been cashing tickets outside of the Cavs, which is why I want to fade them. So not the greatest spot for the Bucks, but how could you fade the Bucks right now? I mean, the Bucks are absolutely, cooking. The reason why I didn't play the game, I wanted to make sure we didn't get any late injury news, if I'm being honest with you guys. I will be putting the Bucks in some kind of money line parlay tonight. I'm going to stay away from the number. I think that they do win the game against Chicago, but just don't want to lay the points just because, like I said, this is not the greatest spot for them. I think Damon and Giannis played close to 30 minutes last night. It could be a spot where, they rest one of those guys, but so far, Doc Rivers isn't resting anybody. And I think, Milwaukee's gunning. They're putting their foot to the pedal, trying to get all these wins that they can. They have played well against Chicago, in recent history. And I don't see a reason why they don't win this game either. Chicago, of course, coming off the double overtime game. So they, don't have a lot more rest. They will be at home for this game, and they were at home for the last game. As we get breaking news that Luka is rolled in. So if you want them, you probably want to hop on that number now. That's a game that I'm going to sit out. But that number is going to move. That Dallas number is going to come down from 9, probably down to 7.5, I would think. The total is going to go up, and I'm probably going to be interested in betting that total to go under. It's at 237.5. It'll probably end up going up to 239, and I'll probably come in on the under in that spot. But going back to this game, I just want to put the Bucks in the money line parlay. They will be a parlay piece for me. I just got to figure out what else I want to do with them. And I want to make sure nobody is going to be on it. Nobody gets ruled out last minute. So those are my thoughts on this game. No real look on the total. Giannis gets ruled in. Dame gets ruled in. Giannis gets ruled in. I do think, the total will go up. Maybe a look towards the under just because the Bucks have been playing really good defense. I think they were 9-1 to the under in their last 10 games. But yeah, it's not a game that I have, a super strong feel on as far as the side. Also, like I said, a late game. Chicago never plays at 10 o'clock. I think that could slow. Neither one of these teams play at 10 o'clock on the East Coast. So I think that could disrupt, some flow as well. Because both the Bucks played yesterday, and now they got an even later start time than they do today, even though they're on the same coast. So don't like that as much. And that's the way I'm kind of looking at this game. Let's go back to the comments real quick. Seeing Dame at Hollis earlier, and he said he's dropping 30 tonight. You said you saw him for real, Jamie? Raptors fan says going with Vucevic over his 9.5 rebounds. He's over in 8 of his last 10 games overall and 8 of his last 10 against the Bucks. Gobert had 19, Bam had 12, Jokic had 12 against the Bucks team as of late. Okay. Okay. I could see that. You got some really great reasoning there, Raptors fan. I hope you cash it. Gene says, it's funny that historically DeMar cooks the Bucks when Giannis is not his direct matchup. Quiet time for Giannis. Quiet time when Giannis guards him. Yeah, Giannis could be on him tonight, man. Bucks. I'm not looking to take Bucks games anyway, but under. Their defense has been really, really good, and it might not be their team total under. I mean, it might not be the full game under. It might be opposing team total under. They've been really, kind of limiting opponents. Coop says Pelicans first half and the Bucks money line is a suggestion. Yeah, you definitely could jump in on that. Let's see. Brent says we should have known not to bet Atlanta last night. Shame on me. Shame on me too, man. The Bucks are. I mean, Atlanta. I won't get too much into it, but Atlanta's one of those teams I can't quite seem to figure out. I mean, but they were playing against a team that I can't quite seem to figure out either, right? The Nets scored 114 points last night. They probably haven't scored that many points since they had Kevin Durant and Kyrie. So just a really difficult team to figure out. Which team is Atlanta defensively? Back-to-back games where they didn't give up 100 points. Last night they get blasted. The Nets can't score 90 points in some of their most recent games. They go for 114 last night. So just a really difficult matchup last night. Definitely was on the wrong side of that one. Coop says Bulls might run that two big lineups versus the Bucks. They could. They definitely could. We'll see what the starting lineups are going to be. JS Brown likes Vucevic over his 12.5 rebounds and assists in this one. Okay. And that's the last comment. We got last game on the board. Been on here for a minute. Y'all join late. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you can. The Washington Wizards, the trash Washington Wizards, will be in LA versus the trash Clippers. The Clippers are actually all right. They actually get this line's up to 16 now. And I said this at the beginning of the show. I wanted to take the Clippers because I said the Wizards would go all out last night. They did. They ended up losing that game in overtime. Now, I mean, if you want to take the Clippers, you got to lay 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. I'm sorry, not 2 extra points, 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. This team is getting 16 points on the road. And a terrible spot. I mentioned it already, but the Washington Wizards are one of those teams that are playing their 5th game in 8 nights, second leg of a back-to-back with overtime. And road dogs, double-digit road dogs playing their 5th game in 8 nights that are also unrested, just 41 and 60 over the course of the database. So that's 40.6% says you fade this team. So you'd be cashing about 60% of your bets. However, this number is ridiculous. And the Clippers have not been playing good basketball. So I can't quite get there with that. Maybe a team total over. If we look at the injury report, I feel like something came out. We know that the Clippers should get Paul George back. He did go through shoot around today. He has been MIA with the knee injury. Did go through shoot around today. Officially still listed as questionable. I don't think he's been ruled in. And then Zubac also got he's also listed as questionable. He set the game out on Wednesday, and Daniel Tice actually got the start. For the Washington Wizards, you have Denny Avdia, who's still listed as questionable. He did play last night, but he was dealing with that heel injury, of course, and missed the game against the games before they played the Lakers, the 2 games before. And then Bilal Koulibaly also still listed as out with the right pelvis contusion. So this is a game where I think the Clippers should be able to get whatever it is that they want. I know they've been, kind of playing pretty bad as of late. The Clippers have not played well even before the All-Star break, but they should kind of get it in gear here soon, man. 6-5 straight up, just 3-8 against the number. It's been their offense. They really struggled to score the ball. They haven't scored more than 112 points in any of their 4 games since the All-Star break. And this is actually, before the All-Star break, they didn't score. They scored 107 to the Thunder, only 101 to the Grizzlies. Against the Kings, they only scored 107. And against the Lakers, they were held to 112 as well. So you're not going to get a better matchup than the Wizards, though. So team total over, should absolutely be in play. Wizards team total under could absolutely be in play. But I think, as we always talk about, the determining factor, to me, in my opinion anyway, is going to be if Denny Avdia plays. Remember, I told you guys it was a 5-point point score per 100 possession differential. When Denny Avdia is on the floor, they're -10. When he's off the floor, they're -15. So if he doesn't play, you probably want to look at the Wizards team total to go under. Even though the Clippers have not been covering spreads, they're 0-4 in their last 5, and like I told you guys, 3-8 in their last 10. They're actually just 1-7 in their last 8 straight. Against the spread in their last 8. They have, however, held 2 of their last 3 opponents under their team total. So I think, Wizards could be a spot where they kind of run out of gas. 5th game in 8 nights, second leg of a back-to-back, off a overtime game. Wizards team total under is probably in play. I know we haven't played it in a while. The Clippers defense hasn't been that great, but this is a spot where I kind of feel like they get right in. Also, I'm not buying the Jordan Poole stock. I know he had a big game last night. I'm not looking for them to keep that going. So Wizards team total under in this spot, especially if Deni Avdija is ruled out, is the way I would look. And I also think we could get there with Clippers team total over as well. But definitely staying away from the 16-point spread, which absolutely makes no sense, because if I like the Wizards team total under and I like the Clippers team total over, I probably should be looking towards laying the points, but definitely not 16 and a half. That number is absolutely crazy. So Wizards team total under, I think, will probably be the best look as I kind of talk it out. Jose says, what's good, Chris? I'm late, but I have to hear some of your fire picks. Not a lot. Fire pick, Jose, and that number is actually gone down to 6.5. I took Detroit plus the 8.5 earlier. TJ says, what do you think about the Clippers team total? I think the number is going to be a tad bit too high, man. Like, it'll be inflated just because the Wizards defense is so bad. They're on the second leg of a back-to-back off the overtime game. And the Clippers should be able to come out here and get whatever it is that they want. But I mean, you're talking about a premium. This team total going to be, so I haven't even looked at it because I knew I wasn't going to want to play it. This team total is probably like 125, 126. 126 and a half it's actually 127 on some books. I mean, the Clippers don't necessarily have to score that many points, in my opinion, to win this game. Like, they could win this game, 115, to 105 or 120 to 106, right? Like, I don't think they necessarily need to score this many points. The Wizards team total at 110 and a half, they are the team that could potentially run out of gas and not, get to that number. I think I like that a little bit better. I think it's a little bit safer. Gene says, Tyus gets love on two threes at plus 290. Likes that. Tariq says, my Wizards got their fix yesterday in LA. Team total under is a look. Absolutely like that. I might end up getting there with that, Tariq. I'm glad we're aligned there. Crosby says, playing the LA team on a back-to-back over trend. Can you run that query? I think I want to say I got it saved. Let's see if I can find it really quick. Kenneth, I might not be able to easily access this. I think let me check real quick and see if it's something that I have saved. Let's see real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Honestly, I don't think it mattered, though. I really don't think it mattered. I really, really don't. Let's see. Lakers, Clippers. All right, so this is one that I had saved, and then the other one when they're facing either the Lakers, Clippers, and Bears game. All right, so let's see this real quick. All right, so if a team is playing, so if your previous team was the Clippers or the Lakers, and your next team is the Clippers or the Lakers, and you're playing unrested, going all the way back to the history of the database, it looks like 57, 31, and 5 to the over, 64.8%. Those games do go over the total. The last, let's see, this season, however, not as much. Let's just look at this season. This season, I'm sorry, 2-0-1 to the over. Only the Magic have been in this spot. That was a push. The Raptors, that was a over, and the Thunder, and that was an over. I remember that game. The Thunder were on a 5th game in 7 nights in that spot, and the Raptors were also, I think, on a 3rd and 4 or like a 4th and 6 or something like that. It might have been 5th and 7 as well. So I mean, it has been profitable this season, but it hasn't happened that often. I just feel like the Wizards could run out of gas in this spot. And the last time the Wizards were actually in this, they actually went, that game was an under game. They played the Lakers on the second leg, and that game went under by a point back on December the 18th, 2022. So, to me, I don't trust the Wizards. I don't trust the Wizards offense. That's how I feel. Coop says Clippers land a college spread, but I understand. I agree with that. Let's see. Jamie says Washington hurt me last night with their team total under. Yeah, it won't the night to take it last night though, Jamie. Not against the Lakers on the second leg of a back-to-back. Lakers didn't care about that game last night. They just wanted to win. I'm kicking myself for not taking the points with the Wizards, especially when they were fresh. Now tonight, I don't think so. Not as much with them being on the second leg of a back-to-back. Bryce says that Celtics Mavs line barely moved, so maybe it was baked in. I actually thought it would move a little bit more. What did it move to? Yeah, you're right. Down to 2.5, but that total did go up. I'm waiting for it to see some 239s. I see some 238.5s. What up to my homeboy Sai in the chat? Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate you for pulling up. Douglas says, glad I stayed away from team total, Wizards team total under yesterday, but today, I'm with you, Douglas. This is slowly but surely becoming one of my favorite plays of the day, and I ain't even pull it yet. I ain't pull the trigger on it yet. Frank says Cleveland might play hard now that their star is out. That's true, Frank, but I'm cool with where I got in on the number. They've been playing hard without him before, and it just hasn't worked out. Also, still not the greatest rest spot for him as well. Janky Sports says he loves James Harden regular assist line at 8.5, but the blowout potential is in play. But if he gets going early, he could pass that in the late third quarter. He could get it at halftime. Honestly, Janky, I would not talk you off playing James Harden assists in this spot. He's gonna have the ball in his hands a ton. And we know the spot. No need to regurgitate all that. But so, I mean, this one makes a lot of sense. I also my player prop guys. And real quick, I see Markel says, yeah, I'm getting to the window with -25 for the Clippers. He laying 25. He think that they absolutely mollywop him tonight. That's crazy. So I did have some notes on Zubac. So if he does play tonight, I think, of course, he's in an advantageous matchup. Looking at the Wizards, of course, second leg of a back-to-back in there after overtime game, 5th game in 8 nights. I talked about all that. The Wizards, this defense has been really, really bad, and it's not at the three-point line. It's in the paint, right? Allowing teams to shoot 82% in the restricted area since the All-Star break. That's the worst. 7% higher than any other team in the NBA. And teams are actually attempting nearly 23 shots per game in the paint versus the Wizards, which is the 6th most as well. You look at Zubac, he's attempted at the most shots less than 5 feet from the rim for this LA Clippers team at nearly 6 per game, shooting 65% in the restricted area, less than 5 feet on the season as well. So I like Zubac. Bounce back game for him, points plus rebounds, sitting at 21.5, -115 on Bet365. He could be the guy that's getting those assists from Harden tonight. Should have no problem scoring or rebounding the basketball. So I do like Zubac. I didn't get there on the number, but shout out to my guy Munoz because he make me cap player props, and then I take deep dives into these player props. But I like Zubac tonight. Probably my favorite player prop. Zubac. I like Anthony Edwards over his 28.5 points. And then one that I didn't mention was Damian Lillard over his 10.5 rebounds plus assists. Shout out to Dream. He came on here and mentioned that he was rebounding the basketball really well. And we know that the Chicago Bulls trap point guards. Damian Lillard had 13 assists, so he cleared his number with just assists in the last game. So I like Damian Lillard, rebounds and assists over 10.5. That was a little juiced at -130 on Bet365, but those are the 3 player props that I like. Damian Lillard over his rebounds and assists, Anthony Edwards over his 28.5 points, and Zubac over his 21.5 points plus rebounds. Favorite 3 plays for as far as props today. And that's the card, man. That's all of them. Hour and 15 minutes, way longer than I should have took on this trash slate. But it's cool. I like coming on here and talking it out with you guys. And only one official play. Down to 6.5 now, but I did take Detroit plus the 8.5. Still didn't get the best of the number. Should have probably took it last night at 10, but I wanted to wait on the news for Donovan Mitchell. Glad I hopped in when I did though, because the line, of course, now is that 8.5 has been gone. Total also down to 219.5. If I had another top look on the board, of course it'd be a smaller play. It'd be the under. Dallas and Boston under the 238.5. As that line gets popped back down from 238.5 down to 237.5. I do like that under. We got to remember, take this into consideration. When you're looking at a team that scored 240 points, that's literally like both teams scoring 120, right? And a lot of the times teams don't get that. They don't get to that number. So 2 slow-paced teams. Dallas can play defense. We know Boston's one of the better defensive teams in the league. So I like that under 238.5 if you can get that number. probably be my top look on the board outside of the Detroit line that's already moved. And like I said, I'm parlaying the Milwaukee money line with something. I just got to figure out what makes the most sense. I'll send that out to the members when I figure it out off the air, because I don't want to waste any more time, anybody else's time. But I do like Milwaukee on the money line tonight, and I will be parlaying them with something to get the line playable in my favor. So that's what I got for you guys. Let's go to the few requests we have, and then we'll get ready to get up out of here, man. I haven't looked at the slate for tomorrow, but I may do a night show. I may do a morning show. Definitely going to try to keep them going, but if I'm being honest with you guys, I'm tired, man. It's been a long 2 weeks, honestly. Not even week. It's been a long 2 weeks. I'm probably going to try to sleep for 10, 11, 12 hours at some point over the weekend. Chill, make more money in the NBA if we have some good spots on the board, and just kind of relax with the fam, if I'm being honest with you guys. So let's go to the YouTube membership. Let's go to Twitter and hear from my guy, Redemption. Redemption, what's going on, my brother? How you doing today? Redemption, you there? Can you hear me? Maybe not. Oh, he actually. Redemption, can you hear me? It looked like you connected. No, you're not connected. Your connection going in and out. Cam, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. What's up?
What's up, Cam? How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Let me get you where my head's at. Tonight I'm on Hurdle over 2.5 assists.
Okay.
He's just been clearing that line real easy. 6-4, 6, 2, 3 of the last 5. Just the way we're kind of running our offense. There's been a lot of interesting dump offs where he pumps and then Scotty comes around the back and easy assist dunk. So it's a pattern. So I like that. For tonight, I also took it at 5, sprinkled it. It's plus 525 on Bet365. He's gotten the 5 assists against Golden State the last time they played. And plus, if you keep with the pattern, there's a good chance he might get there tonight. So I like those odds. So it's just a value play. Pascal, back to the first quarter. It's 4.5, too low. That's the cap. It's too low a number. Minus 125 for me. Still a good value. So I really like that play. It's basically, if I ever see it at that number, I always play it. And I took some inspiration from you. I'm going to parlay your Bucks with RJ Barrett over 19.5 points. Also a real good line. The 19.5. It opened up at 21. It came down, which was kind of weird to me. It's a pretty good matchup. Steph put me on it. I looked at it last night and I didn't like it at 21, but 19.5 is a really good number. So I'll parlay that for plus 180. I got a happiness hedge on Golden State Warriors. I'm sure I didn't hear I'm on the way to the game, so I probably missed your cap on that game with the Warriors versus the Raptors. I do think it's a bit of a trap game for the Warriors because of how many games they played in the last little bit.
Facts. Me too. That's what I said. Cam. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I didn't bet the Warriors.
So I took the Warriors, though, because I'm at the game. So happy as heck. I took them last night, my 2.5. But I actually think the proper cap is I do think the Raptors could pull this off. So don't play the Warriors. I'm just letting y'all know that. The minus 2.5 I thought was kind of disrespectful, regardless of it being so many games for them. They are just way better than we are. So, I don't expect us to win tonight, but I do think if you like the Raptors, it's not a bad look tonight. But that's where I'm at.
Okay. Hey, best of luck, Cam. Appreciate you for sharing the looks, my brother, and enjoy the game, man.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy the game. All right, let's see if we can get Redemption up real quick, and we're getting ready to get up out of here. Redemption, can you hear me? I think you're connected now.
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, my brother. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. No complaints at all. What you liking for today? How you looking at the games?
Okay. I want to speak on the Raptors game as well. I'm on Moses Moody threes. So with pods out, basically I just like the value. Plus, Wiggins is out too, so I'm just gonna take his threes. 1.5. I think that's a good price. I also sprinkle on the 3, and I also got a threes lotto for the people. 1 second, let me tell you. Okay, so it's Cade Cunningham 3 threes, Moses Moody 3 threes, and PJ Washington 2 threes. The Cavs give up a lot of threes to point guards in the last 7 days. And PJ was just on the heater, so I just expect some, just rhythm type shit. So that's all I got today, though, Chris. Appreciate you putting me on.
Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. It makes a lot of sense, Redemption. It makes a ton of sense. At a certain point, I know Moody has been starting, so, it makes ton of sense. No pies out there. We know Golden State. I gave you guys the numbers the other day. They shoot a ton of threes. It was one of the reasons why I really like them versus the Knicks. The Knicks defense has been the worst against the three over, since the All-Star break. And they're gonna continue to shoot them. They definitely gonna continue to shoot them. That's what Golden State wants to do. They shoot I think it was the second most threes since the All-Star break. It was like 40 a game. So no matter who's out there, they're gonna stretch the floor. We know Golden State's offense is about pace and space, right? So it makes a ton of sense.
I want to say one more thing, Chris. I like Moody as well because, like, I don't know if a lot of people realize, but like I like betting on him and like Lonnie Walker, for example, like people that's like really trying to cheat they trying to get a spot on their rotation. Like he got something to prove every night.
That's a fact.
He touched the floor.
That's a fact.
So like, that's another reason why I like him though.
Little added motivation. I like it. I like it a lot, Redemption. I might end up telling you on that. Put a little something on Moody to go over his 3-point makes. The number's 1.5, right, Redemption?
Yeah, it's 1.5. On the 3, so we'll see.
Sprinkle on the 3. I like it. I like it a lot, man. I like it a lot. Okay. All right. So shout out Kim, shout out Redemption for coming in here, dropping looks as well, man. As always, I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Extremely, grateful for the community that we built. Everybody that's watching on, YouTube, people that's listening in on Twitter as well. Do me a favor, like I said, hit the like button for me if you enjoy the show. I'll probably try to do a night show or either an early morning show tomorrow, and then just like I said, enjoy the rest of the day. But best of luck to you guys tonight, man, on all your action. Like I said, if I had to add one more thing for the people who joined late, as you guys see the resources come up on YouTube, if I had to add another play, man, it would definitely be that under in the Dallas game. Dallas and Boston starting to speak to me a little bit. The Wizards team total under also starting to speak to me a little bit. But we'll see what happens with Paul George. We'll see what happens with Ivica Zubac. But that Bulls, I am adding the Bucks. Like I said, it'll be in the membership. If you guys want access to that, just hit that link in the description. But I am adding that Bucks money line, and I'll figure out how we're gonna get paid with that as well. So I definitely have 2 plays, but it could potentially be 4. We'll see how it goes, though, man. Best of luck to you guys, man. I hope everybody cash. Enjoy your weekends, man. Stay safe. Crazy, crazy world we living in. I'm out, y'all.